They came in their hundreds to bury my father. Politicians. Businessmen. People whose names you read in the newspapers. But I sat there looking at that coffin and I kept thinking, did any of them actually know him? Did I? My father grew up with nothing. And he never forgave the world for it. He used to say poverty is not just a condition, it is an insult. And he spent the rest of his life making sure no one would ever insult him again. When his own father died, poor, forgotten, buried in a cheap grave with barely 10 people present, my father knelt down and made a vow. He would never be buried like that. Whatever it cost. Mama said when she met him he was different. Hungry, yes, but there was still something soft in him. She said she fell in love with the man God intended him to be. She spent 30 years praying that man would come back. His first real deal, he convinced a man twice his age to sign over a contract by sheer force of will. He came home and told Mama. She said, "Did you pray about it?" He laughed. That was the beginning of the distance between them. I prayed for him every night he was not home. And even the nights he was. I knew the man God placed in my care. And I knew the enemy was fighting hard for him too. So I fought harder. Mama kept a photograph from the day I was born. My father holding me in the hospital corridor. She said it was the only time in their marriage she saw him look like he didn't know what to do next. She said that was the real him. His first partner, a man who helped him build his first company, my father pushed him out. Took everything. The man had a family. My father knew. He did it anyway. And that night he slept fine. In 10 years he went from one small office to 5 companies, 2 buildings and his face in the business papers. Lagos respected him. Lagos feared him. That was all the same thing to my father. I used to watch him through the office door when I was small. He looked like the most powerful man in the world. I wanted to be him. I didn't know yet what being him had cost. We had everything. The house was so big that some days I wouldn't see my father at all, and he was home. A big house is easy to get lost in. A big life even easier. Mr. Adeyemi had 3 children and a business he built for 20 years. My father took a contract from underneath him. The business closed within a year. I only found out after my father died. I still don't know how to carry that. He was always on a call. Always in a meeting. Always somewhere else even when he was standing right in front of me. I stopped trying to show him things when I was about 12. It hurt less that way. Mom told him one night, "Emeka, you are winning every war outside this house and losing everything inside it." He told her she didn't understand business. She told him she understood God. He went back to his papers. When you spend 20 years stepping on people to climb higher, eventually enough of them gather at the bottom and decide to shake the ladder. My father had more enemies than he had friends. He thought that meant he was winning. His driver, a man named Chukwu who worked for him for 15 years, told me something after the funeral. He said some nights my father would sit in the car for 30 minutes before going inside. Just sitting. Chukwu never asked why. He said it wasn't his place. I wish somebody had asked. 3 weeks after the funeral, clearing out his study, I found it. A small brown journal, hidden behind a row of business books. No title on the cover. Just his handwriting inside. The first line stopped my breath completely. God, I know you can see me. I know what I am. I know what I have done. I don't know how to stop. I don't know if you still hear a man like me. But tonight I am writing this because I have no one else to tell. The night he closed the biggest deal of his life, a deal that cost 3 smaller businesses their existence, he came home and went straight to the study. Mama said he didn't eat. He didn't sleep. She heard him up until 4 a.m. She thought it was work. It wasn't work. I signed those papers today. I told myself it was business. It is always business. But Adeyemi has children. I have seen them at events. 3 of them. I told myself not to think about it. I am still thinking about it. Lord, what kind of man am I becoming? No, I know what kind of man I am becoming. The question is whether I can stop. He knew. That's what broke me. He wasn't a man without conscience. He was a man who had one, and chose every single day to override it. The monster the world saw was a choice, not a condition. I found a journal entry about me. He wrote that he used to stand at my door at night. That he wanted to come in and talk to me, that he didn't know how. He wrote, Daniel deserves a father. Not the one I have become. He never came in. But he stood there. Every time, he stood there. His enemies had been patient. They didn't attack him directly, they moved quietly through contracts, through banks, through the same systems he had used against others. What you send out always comes back. Always. Tonight I almost called a pastor. I put the phone down. I am too known in this city. If I walk into a church broken, by Monday it will be in every boardroom. So I sit here alone. God, if you are still there for someone like me, I need you to know I am tired. I am so tired of being this man. He was diagnosed 8 months before he died. He told nobody, not mama, not me, not his lawyers. He carried it alone. Like everything else. The doctor gave me a number. I have been given numbers my whole life, figures, targets, deadlines. This is the first number I cannot negotiate. Lord, I have wasted so much time. Ngozi has been praying for me for 30 years. 30 years of her faith covering a man who did not deserve it. I want to tell her I know. I want to tell Daniel I see him. I want to walk into a church and fall on my face. But I don't know how to become small after being so big for so long. God, help me become small. He wrote that 6 months before he died. 6 months of knowing. 6 months of chances to say the things that needed to be said. He didn't say them. But he wrote them. And God, in his mercy, made sure I found them. Chukwu told me something else. Some Sunday mornings when Mama and I were at church, my father would watch service on television alone. He never told anyone. He never came with us. But he watched. Every Sunday. He watched. By the time the business was in the papers, his body was already failing. His enemies got what they wanted. But I think, by then, my father had already stopped fighting them. He was fighting a different battle entirely. I walked past him so many times that year. I didn't know he was dying. I didn't know he was trying to talk to me. I thought he was just being him. I would give anything to walk back into that kitchen. I am running out of pages and I am running out of time. So let me say clearly what I could never say out loud. Ngozi, you were right about everything. 30 years of your prayers held this house together, not me. I was the storm you were praying against. I am sorry. Daniel, you are the best thing I ever had anything to do with, and I had the least to do with it. God made you good in spite of me. I am proud of you in ways I never told you. Tell him, Lord. When I am gone, find a way to tell him. And God, I know I have no right to ask. But I am asking anyway. I am not coming to you with anything good. I am just coming. That is all I have left. Just coming. The nurses told us he was peaceful in his last hours. That he held Mama's hand through the night. She didn't know he was dying, she thought it was just another hospital stay. She woke up and he was gone. His hand still holding hers. When they told me, she said to God, "Did you receive him?" That was all she could ask. Not why. Not how. Just, did you receive him? She held on to that question for weeks. And then I found the journal. And God answered. When I read her the last entry, when she heard him say she was right about everything, she made a sound I have never heard from my mother before. Not grief. Not just grief. Something released. Like 30 years of prayer finally landing. She knelt down that morning and she said, "Thank you." Just that. 30 years she prayed for that man. And God showed her, he never stopped working on him. Even in secret. Even in the dark. God was in there with him. Her prayers were not wasted. Not one of them. The lawyers came with the reality of who my father was. Debts. Lawsuits. People who wanted what was left of the empire. People who wanted blood. At 17 years old, I became the man of a house built on a cracked foundation. I went to every person I could find that my father had wronged. I couldn't undo what he did. But I could show up. I could say, "I know. I am sorry." And where I had anything to give, I gave it. That was the only way I knew to honor a man I was still learning how to forgive. I talked to him for an hour. I was angry. I was grateful. I was heartbroken. I told him I forgave him. I don't know if I fully meant it yet when I said it. But I said it out loud over his grave, because I knew that was the first step toward meaning it. My father couldn't walk into a church because he was too known. I walked in because of him. Because someone had to finish what his heart was trying to do. Someone had to break the cycle. It might as well be me. I rebuilt what I could of what he left. But I built it differently. With people, not against them. With God in the room, not locked outside it. My father taught me what not to do. That is also a kind of inheritance. I asked Mama sometimes if she was angry at my father, for the years she lost praying for a man who chose to stay in the dark. She told me no. Because he didn't stay. Not fully. Not in his heart. And no prayer offered in faith is ever truly wasted. God keeps everyone. I shared my father's story. Not to expose him. To free someone else. Because I know there is a man sitting somewhere right now, powerful, afraid, writing things in secret he cannot say out loud. And I need him to know, God sees those pages too. God has always seen them. My father paid the highest price a man can pay. He bought everything the world was selling, and it cost him his peace, his family, his years, and almost his soul. Almost. Because at the very end, in the secret place where only God could see him, he came home. And that is the grace I choose to believe in. The grace that reaches a man even in the last pages of his story. The grace that doesn't care how powerful you were. It only asks, "Are you coming?" My father finally said yes. And I am spending the rest of my life making sure that yes was not in vain.